Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm your host, Megaroar31. I've been having computer issues a lot tonight. Some updates, the drivers, I don't know. Hopefully sound's working. Hopefully you can see everything and we get through this. It's kind of grind for me. It's 11 p.m. on the East Coast. I got to work tomorrow, leave for work tomorrow at 7 a.m. And I need to get out 2 NASCAR videos and a baseball video. So let's see what I can do. And I'm fighting equipment, so hopefully I can get some sleep tonight. But anyways, we got NASCAR at Pocono. Just a kind of a programming note. Next week is Richmond, I believe. It's Xfinity's during the day, and then trucks have a night race, and then Cup is on Sunday, but I have to have some teeth pulled on Friday, so hopefully I'll be able to talk for the video. If not, I will have something up for you. It might be a silent video with just the chart and maybe a couple PowerPoint slides of some notes. So we'll have some content for you next week, but might not be a talking video. So some of you might like that, some of you might not like that, but we'll see. So anyways, let's look at this race here. Pocono racetrack, tricky triangle. Weather looks like it should be decent for this one, which is good. I mean, I do live pretty close to the racetrack, probably about 40 minutes away from it. No, I'm not going. I'm working tomorrow, so I can get ready so I can go on vacation this week. But it looks like they should have a decent day for racing, which is, again, exciting because it's been just such a disaster with weather recently. With some of the NASCAR races. So there's a 60 laps. So this is a short one, and it's quite often turned into, for all the series, a fuel mileage race. So in this one, we've got 3 Cup drivers. We had some Xfinity drivers, some people doing some double duty here. So lots of choices and some practice problems in qualifying. So 3 trucks did not make it. Chad Chastain, Ross Chastain's brother, so the brothers won't be racing in the same race. Brian Desnell, he usually comes out for like Daytona and a couple races a year, doesn't always make it. And Norm Betting, no surprise. Poor 71-year-old Norm Betting can hardly ever stay on the lead lap. So just gonna hide those drivers so it doesn't confuse anybody. And the colors on here are just simply this. The guys in yellow are just above the cut line. They haven't been locked into the playoffs yet, but currently they are in the top 10. There's, I believe, 5 races left, so we're getting close to desperation time. Friesen is 1 point out, so he's like super close. It's like between Friesen and Crafton, I believe. Like Crafton's 1 point over, Friesen's 1 point below, so those two are really close. And then Jake Garcia, I don't know if he qualifies for it, but they had him listed, so I threw him in there. But I think it's going between Friesen, Ankrum, Gray, and Purdy, and some of them have some ground to make up, and they might just have to win to get in. So we'll see. Again, we don't have to be super desperate yet, but we're starting to get down there. Majeski currently is not locked into the playoffs. All the other guys who do have wins, but he can, if he's got a good race here, he can lock himself into the playoffs just on points because nobody should be able to catch him past that. So start at the top. Nicholas Sanchez has been really good recently. He's got poles and he's done well during races also. So I think this is a track where if he can get out there and keep this speed, I mean, he's only 13th in practice. Nobody had 10 consecutive laps, so there's really no data on like long run speed here. So, and it's gonna be hot and humid tomorrow, so the track might be it should be about the same conditions as they raced when they did the practice and qualifying, so it should be pretty accurate what we saw out there. So I believe he has the crew chief of Chandler Smith, who won the race last year, so don't quote me on that, but I thought I remember them saying that. So, that definitely helps him. He's a talented young driver. I think he can definitely go out there and do well. So I'm going to give him a prime play because it is hard to pass on this track. It is not a short track, but it's a short race with like how long the track is, how many laps they actually run on it. And I think they said that the average winner is like 3.3. So it probably somebody in the top 6 is going to statistically have the best chance to win this race. Now, we do have some cup ringers in here who qualify a little bit further on down. So, I mean, that might skew things also. So, Nick Sanchez, I'm starting with my first prime play here. Jake Garcia also looked really good in qualifying. I like the price on him. However, he did stall out after the end of qualifying. And I think the problem was potentially like a starter or the lost power. If they have to make an adjustment, he has to start all the way in the back. And that really doesn't bode well for him to try to make it all the way back up. And he's definitely not going to get any dominating points. So, can he do it? Yes. But will he do it? I don't know. So I think I'm out on him, especially if he has to start in the back. Enfinger, I like. Finished 17th last year here, but looked decent in practice. You know, the track style, I think he's in the top 10. So again, it's somebody up here. I like the price break here. Hocevar could definitely get up there and dominate, especially if Garcia's gone. You only have to pass 2 trucks to get the lead and get out there and dominate. 8th in practice, so he's in the top 10 there. Had a nice average running position last year, finished 5th. He's got a couple wins on the season. So he's definitely somebody else I'd look at cash. Austin Hill comes back to the truck series. The Spire truck was in it last year. Didn't do bad. He finished 6th in the same truck, 9th overall in those types of tracks, but 22nd in practice was just a bit concerning to me. He doesn't look, unless they're trying things out, though, he didn't look like he had a ton of speed, but he's a good driver, and we'll have to see if he can maintain it in this. It's not a top tier elite truck like he used to drive in the truck series, but it should be decent for him. Zane Smith is always a threat to do well here. 9th in practice, finished 13th last year, struggled a little bit here. So I think he's always in play. A little bit of place differential here too. So I think you can play him in cash also. Raja Kruth, I think, is qualifying a little bit too high up here. I mean, he said that his truck's fast and this is his best opportunity to go out and win and make the playoffs. I don't think he's quite there yet. 20th in practice. 25th on those similar tracks, which really don't have anything in the truck series because similar tracks would be Michigan and Auto Club, and they haven't run tracks this long. I mean, maybe you can look at like earlier in the season, maybe like Charlotte or like some of those like 1.5-mile tracks potentially, but I don't think there's anything really comparable to look at. And he's got himself into trouble. Could he hang out and finish 7th? Yes, definitely. But I like some trucks behind him, which I think is going to push him down in the order. So he's a GPP for me. Matt Di Benedetto has finished here 6th or 7th in the Cup car. He's 12th last year in the same truck, 12th in practice. But he's been in the top 5 or 6 like recently in the last 3 or 4 races. So he's really coming into decent form here, looking to make his way into the playoffs. 7,500, I like the price. Corey Heim did race here last year. I think he was in the 51. So he was in the top Bush truck. So now he's in he stayed with Toyota and he's in this Tricon garage, which is a solid program. He's had a really good year here also. He has a top overall track style average from what I have. And last year he had a great running position in Pocono. So everything points, if you don't want to play one of the Cup guys and you want to pay up for somebody, I think here's probably your guy here. He's 4th in practice. Lots of things point. Hocevar is closer to the top. So I mean, it's a tough choice. I think it's between he and Hocevar. And usually I'll get to Kyle Busch in a second, but I think if you play the prime guys I give you, and I tried to keep them relatively cheap, you can probably get in Haim or Hocevar because there's enough cheaper value plays to make it work for you. So, but if you're trying to do a Kyle Busch, you're probably going to have to sacrifice one of the prime plays. And, at that point, I would just hope that he gets up there fast and that nobody goes out there and dominates early. Like maybe like the lead changes back and forth between a couple of trucks. And I think that's your best bet because there's 2 great place differential guys towards the back. or you'll have to like punt one of those, take an early dominator, take Kyle Busch, and take one of the guys in the back. But I don't think you can fit everything in. Especially with Jake Garcia, like if he was still up there and guaranteed to start in the second spot, then I think that would be a great GPP build, is take the two guys in the bottom that are going to have great place differential, that have prime plays, go Kyle Busch and then go Garcia. But I think he's really going to probably start at the back if they have to fix something on that truck. And if they don't fix it, then is it going to go wrong again? So there's a lot of questions there. But really like Horkheim. Chase Purdy is another one that I think you can fill in here. That's Kyle Busch Motorsports. He was solid last year, finished 11th. So I think you can definitely get into the top 10, kind of hold his position. 7,400 is a great price. Taylor Gray, same thing, just Tricon Garage. He looked better in practice than Purdy did. Last year, he finished in the top 10, and really nothing that I can really knock him for the price also. So, I mean, you got some really nice guys in the 7K range here that I'd really focus in on. And maybe in a GPP lineup, start your GPP lineup with DiBenedetto, Gray, and Purdy. And that's a Taylor Gray, not Tanner Gray. Tanner Gray is good also. So maybe all four of them, or maybe three of the four of them, and then rotate in some of the more expensive of guys here. So just another way to look at it, some alternate builds. So Kyle Busch, 1,300. Like he's looking for a 100th win for Kyle Busch Motorsports. And he's got wins on this track before in all kinds of different series. He's done well here. He was the fastest truck in practice. They didn't run many laps there. They waited a little bit to get some rubber down to get kind of a feel for it. Like they showed his truck, like the nose of the truck was like touching the ground, like when it was in the pit. So my guess is they have this truck dialed in and they're all ready to go. But, we haven't seen him be as dominant this year. I don't know if it's a switch from his trucks from Toyota to Chevy it's made a difference, or just the competition has gotten better among the regulars. So lots of factors there. But usually when he's in here, I play one Kyle Busch line and cash and one without. Today, I think I'm just going to say, if he beats me, he beats me. There's lots of other good plays, I think. Didn't look... I just don't know. Maybe I'll reconsider it, but I'm going to have to make a lot of, like I said, sacrifices, because I really want to try to get some of the guys in the bottom in, and I don't know if I can get them at Kyle Busch and have somebody that might go out there and dominate early in the race. So I'm just going to have to figure it out. So I guess that's the two directions I go. Kyle Busch, the two guys in the bottom, and then try to just hope that he gets up there fast enough that he's not out, that there's not somebody out there that's just turning lap after lap. I mean, it's not short track. So, I mean, again, I said there's only like 60 laps, so it's not going to amount to that much. But if one person does get it, then I think you might need them. And I think Kyle Busch would have to eventually be that guy to lead the most laps to pay off 1,300 for his price tag. So that's my concern with Kyle Busch. Can he get up there? Can he win the race? Yes. But is just 11 place differential points and a first place finish can be enough if he doesn't do it till like the end of and he only leads like 4 laps? That's what I think the concern is here. Tanner Gray, like I said, I like him with the other like 7K guys that are kind of around. They're not a bad place to if you want a balanced lineup to start. Christopher Bell, 17th in practice, like nothing really jumped out here. This Hotori truck doesn't run every week. That's the only thing that concerns me. Chase Purdy ran it last year, finished 11th here, so they are familiar with this track, and the team's familiar with this track. And Chris Bell's a decent driver in the Cup Series. Does it translate back to the Truck Series? I don't know. I think he could have a good day. I think he's a sleeper. I think he's more of a GPP play than cash. Casgrala last year, and he's in the All-Star Tricon truck here, but he had 23rd finish last year. He struggled a little bit. Last year, what truck was he in? He was in the O2. So, I mean, it wasn't great equipment, and this is better equipment. So, and he's doing double duty too. He's running Xfinity. So 8,300, it's fine, but I think I like the 7K guys better that are more regular in a truck than Casgrala. Stuart Friesen, he's always a GPP for me. He just... look at last, like 18th in qualifying, 16th qualifying, 18th in practice, 14th finish last year. I just I know he's on the, and I think he might just be very conservative because I know he just needs to survive in advance. He's so close to making the playoffs. If he goes out there and gets too aggressive and wrecks himself, then what's that going to help? Nothing. Kenny Honeycutt looked good out there, but this is a 25th place truck last year. There's no sponsor on the truck, which also scares me that there's not money behind this. And, if anything goes wrong, there's no sponsorship. They might pull him before he does a lot of damage and like loses the truck. So I GPP, but I think I'm pretty much going to be out on here. Ankrum is always a GPP for me. He's very talented driver, usually has a lot of upside, but also can wreck a lot. So boomer bust at 7,200 GPP. Stephon Parsons is starting way too far forward here. I think he's got some talent, but I haven't seen anything to really make me think that this is a smash play in this. And there's a lot of other plays I'd rather take in the 5K range. Daniel Jai, he was in this truck last year, but the truck finished 31st. Just seen his struggle in some of these races also, but I've seen him do okay. Can he hang around the top 20? I think he'll finish top 25. I don't think he'll advance a ton. So I think he's a GPP. I'd rather take Haley Deegan just based on the price. I know she struggled last year here if you look at the box scores, but she had brake issues. It wasn't her problem, it was the truck. But 23rd average running position, 23rd average finish on these tracks. So if she finishes around where she starts, I think she's fine at 5,700. You're going to need some cheap drivers. Ben Rhodes at GPP, he didn't look good in the qualifying lap. He looked a little bit better in practice, but last year is a 19th place truck and he's starting 22nd. So I think he can progress a little bit, and I like the price on him, but I would rather play like Enfing or Sanchez, like some of the guys closer to the top, or maybe take a shot on Kaz Grala over Rhodes here. Ross Chastain, 1,100. No way I'm playing him. He's raced like 3 or 4 times in the Truck Series and really hasn't been spectacular. I think it's just these trucks just aren't that fast, and he didn't look good in practice. 29th. He didn't qualify well. I don't really see a ton of upside for him here. Maybe it's just extra practice or just trying to, he's a name brand person, just Nice bringing in just to try to bring in some more money for the team. Parker Klingerman has been decent. I think he's been better in he's better in road courses and he's been better in Xfinity series. And but I mean, this is like an old school truck with like the laundry detergent Tide and Downy on it. It looks like, some sponsorship you'd see in the past. So I think he's better than a 24th place. I think he can get up in the top 20. His price isn't bad at 7,800. He's an experienced, a little over aggressive sometimes, but I think you can play him in cash. Crafton, I think you can play in cash here also, just because last year he finished 15th. He's not a 25th place truck here. 7th in practice. He definitely can make his way up, and he's only 7,700. So, he's another one of those 7K guys that you can just throw together in a lineup and probably build a nice balanced lineup. Try to take your shot at who's going to be the winner or the dominator up top. Throw all the 7K guys in the lineup, and I think that could be a decent way to try to win a GPP with a solid performance. Colby Howard, I don't really like playing him, but all the things point to playing him in cash. He was 18th last year, and not in this truck, but in worse equipment, and 19th in practice. He's 26. I think he can definitely get up into top 20, and with probably about 5 to 6 place differential points at 6,100. That's good for me. Lawless Allen almost lost in his qualifying lap and was loose a couple times in practice, so just too volatile. I can't do that. Brett Holmes, just nothing, not a ton of upside here at all. Rayum's starting way too far forward. He couldn't even stay on the lead lap last time, finished 34th. If these other guys actually qualified, I think he'd be down like 3 or 4 spots. Spencer Boyd's a no also. Corey Roper, haven't seen any speed or anything solid out of this truck, and I think these 3 will just go back. Now, this Stephen Mazzoli didn't qualify well, but this truck was a 21st place truck last year. It's the old, like, I think Brett Moffitt, like AM Racing here, or Tommy Joe Mountain. there's a good experienced team. It's good equipment, and Mazzoli is a talented up and coming driver here. He's not like a scrub or some of these guys that are just career back markers, as we call them. So I think that he definitely has an upside, but put him as a GPP just because he didn't look fast in practice. But I think through attrition at 4,800, I think he can definitely do better than the three trucks above him. Dean Thompson, I look in cash here. He just didn't have a good qualifying lap, but it's a Tricon garage truck. The truck finished 24th last year, 11th in practice. He's not a great driver, but he's not as bad as the guys down here, and it's not a 33rd place truck, like I always say. So at 6,900, he's definitely somebody that if you need a cheap driver to get some place differential to round out your lineup that you look at. Okay, so these two guys, I've talked about them throughout this whole video here. Majeski and Exis. Majeski looked decent, but he got a flat tire in his qualifying lap. He was third in practice. He finished 7th last year. I think you just got to lock him in here. And again, he's trying to run a solid race. I think he'll definitely be able to cut through the field and make it up there. It's a great truck. It's a great program. He's a good driver. I know I usually play him in only GPPs because he starts at the top and usually fades, but this is a chance for him to make up ground. I think he's probably the lock in the slate for me, in my opinion. Eckes on the other side too did have issues with the rear end of the truck and couldn't make his qualifying lap. So I think he'll be fine also. Definitely will climb up 21st in practice, but still could have been fighting that issue. And I think he'll definitely be able to move up into even like the top 20. You get 15 place differential points for 9,500. I think that's definitely something that could definitely play off. So like both these ones, if you want to go Kyle Busch and you want to take a guy up top and you only want to take one of these guys back here, take Majeski, who's only a flat tire over Eckes. Or Majeski is definitely the better play at 9,200 over Eckes, but I think they're both going to be smash plays with place differential. And then Tyler Hill, I know he finished 30th last year. He's 32nd in practice. He had a mechanical issue. They should get it fixed. He starts with a 4. He can't go any further down than a 4, but there are some really bad trucks here in Rayom, Boyd, and Roper they can probably get ahead of. So I think he at least get up to the top 30. So that's 6 place differential points. So 5,500, you're talking that he could potentially get like anywhere from 12 to 20 DK points. And if there's like a wreck or something silly happens, continue to move up a little bit more. So I think there's a lot of potential for him. And I think at 5,500, he's another great cash fill-in for your lineup. So that's what I got for you. Hopefully you could hear the audio and everything. Got a busy day tomorrow, but if you have any questions, hit me up Megaro31 or put questions in the comments below and I will try to get back to you before lock. If you want more information on FSI DFS, you can get into our full Discord with everything and chat and stuff. So, it's easier for me to get your questions there, but you got to sign up for the package. It's only $5 a week, it's $15 a month, I believe. It's very, very, very cheap. If you want to get into that, then go to the description of the video and go to the FSI DFS website, and you can click on subscriptions and sign up there. And then finally, thank you so much for everybody who's been watching these videos. And if they've been helpful to you, then I will continue to make them. And thank you for helping us back by watching them. But if you can go the extra mile by liking the video, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already, I would super appreciate that. So good luck in your contest. I am going to try to get the Xfinity video out and a baseball video out before my computer dies or I completely fall asleep and have to wake up and go to work tomorrow. So thanks again for watching. Good luck in your contest. You know how to get a hold of me. Check out the other videos that are coming up on our channel, and I'll see you next time.